President Muhammed Buhari described corruption in Nigeria as the main impediment to the nation's progress. That is why the president declared war against all forms of corruption immediately after his swearing in back in May 2015. So far, the fight against corruption has remained one of his topmost priorities. Experts say the president's zero tolerance for corruption has drastically reduced the impunity with which people engage in corrupt practices in the country. Right now, experts are commending the present administration's anti-corruption crusade, but the question is, how challenging has the fight been? Are the country's anti-corruption agencies and institutions strong enough to continue the fight without fear or favor? And how can ordinary Nigerians be part of the fight against corruption at its core? We will be back with experts to provide answers to these and other questions very shortly. I am Dennis Adibunloye. Welcome to Nigeria Today. And in the studio to examine the gains of the fight against corruption in Nigeria is Sunusi Musa, a legal practitioner. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you very much.
All right, and also joining us in the studio is Mazi Peter Okorafo, who is a public affairs analyst. Thank you also for joining us on Nigeria Today.
My pleasure.
All right, so let me come to you first, Mazi. It's been 4 years since this crusade began under the leadership of President Muhammed Buhari back in 2015. Give us your assessment so far about the crusade of the president's administration.
Well, in earnest, we cannot astutely describe where we are without knowing where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Corruption is not a business of the black man. It's an imperialist tendency. The incursion of colonialism in Nigeria and Africa at large was basically underlined by corrupt tendencies of Western administration of then. Because the essence of coming to Nigeria and Africa was in search of gold and mineral resources. Most cases, human resources carted away as slaves. They came here, creating the impression they brought civilization. But they brought a civilization with an ulterior motive of sapping God-given potentialities of the black man. And henceforth, corruption by the political elites of the era was understood as a means of using government to enrich themselves. So they learned it from the Europeans. And so, because of time, it went through our system, through independence, pre-colonial and independence era, through the military junta era, and then through a democratic process. It became enshrined. Because you must be taught something to learn something. So the political elites understood the Europeans in that order, and they aided and collaborated with them in cutting away our resources. It didn't start today. So, bringing that to the backdrop of where we are, the president himself, Muhammad Buhari, has a record that predated his involvement in service, public service, from his military days. And over years, past administrations have tried all means to see if they could puncture his impeccable track record, but they've not been able to do that. So he came to lead by example. And comparing the baggages of rotten public sector from independence up to 2015 when he took over, you will see that he has made tremendous success. What am I talking about? When the 1990 decree that brought Code of Conduct Bureau and Code of Conduct Tribunal, the Babangida military era, it could barely define its purpose and what it wanted to achieve in the public sector. And so it had no teeth. It was like a dog that had no teeth. And corruption thrived seriously in those eras until Obasanjo came in 2000 and brought the ICPC and eventually the FCC to perfect the legal framework of fighting corruption. Yes, it was a good idea by Obasanjo, very good idea by the administration, but the concept is as good as itself if it's effective. So in those areas, what we saw ICPC and EFCC doing those days was merely arresting people, like Kemu would say, Gestapo demonstration. They will handcuff you, drag you all over the places, do some drama, prosecute you, no conviction.
All right, we'll get into the intricacies of the anti-corruption agencies a little later. Let me bring in Sunusi now. Give us your initial assessment of how the anti-corruption crusade has fared in the last 4 years.
Well, let me just give you a little story. The experience I had. There was this professor that I know. Is an ardent critic of this administration in the social media. We were in Mecca together in December 2018, and I think it was after the Maghrib prayer, I think. We sat and we were discussing. He confessed to me. He said, no, in actual sense, you know that President Buhari's administration has succeeded in checking corruption in the country. He said, look, the way people, I mean, the system, how people tax government money with impunity is no more there. And I asked him, I said, Sabasa, why are you always a critic of the administration? Why his answer, he said, is because of somebody whom he mentioned his name. So I'm just trying to tell you, this is what I'm trying to say, is that even the critics of the president do agree that in the era of fight, I mean in his effort to fight corruption, he has met success tremendously in that aspect. Then can we say that we have really, he has succeeded in wiping out corruption? No, certainly no. Because naturally, you will not have any society that is corrupt-free. Yeah. That is impossible.
Even the so-called developed countries.
Exactly. You can naturally, human beings, they have these corrupt tendencies. What matters is a system that will check that corruption and make sure that people are punished when they are caught accordingly. And you can't really change a system that has been bastardized over the years within the last 4 years. Certainly it is not. In fact, even the next 4 years cannot be enough to do that. But what we want from this man is that he will lay that foundation that will come and build upon, so that we can build a better society that will be good for all. And I think the next 4 years will be an opportunity for the president to consolidate on the gains so far made in the area of fighting anti-corruption, so that we can be able to see that apart from investigation that has been going on and the recovery of the fund, we will be able to see the translation of that into reduction in the poverty level of the country. That can be done. I think the president will have to now concentrate on building the institution of governance. Like I keep on saying, whether do we really need EFCC, do we really need ICPC when Obasanjo created them? For me, certainly no. It's just because some people wants to bring new things that it will go in their name saying that they created it. We have Code of Conduct Bureau. We have the police. Strengthen them. Make them to work effectively. Because all the problem we have today, the insecurity that has bedeviled this nation today, is because of the corrupt system we have in the Nigeria police. The system has been allowed to become what it has. It is decaying. So to such an extent that the police, because of the corruption there, they are not even, they cannot be able to check the crime rate in the country. So these are things that maybe we have to check. Probably in the next 4 years, I would like to see a situation whereby we'll strengthen the Code of Conduct Bureau. We'll strengthen the Nigeria Police Force. Probably we'll scrap the FCC. We scrap the ICPC so that we can have a system that because look, when we say all the good work that we are saying EFCC has been doing, ironically, it is the same people from the Nigeria Police Force that goes there to do it. So that's what it's telling you. Is that you just have to make what you have good. You just have to strengthen the system there so that it will work better. And why are they working better there? Because maybe they have better finances. So we must check those things so that we can have a holistic thing there too. Because the EFCC is more of an elitist issue. We need to have a police that to check all the other corrupt practices that are going on down there.
All right, Mazi, let me bring you in here. You've heard the comments of Sunusi there with regards to the anti-corruption agencies that possibly they should be scrapped. In your view, in the last 4 years, how would you feel that they have played their role in terms of championing this cause of Mr. President?
Well, in my view, the present EFCC under Ibrahim Magu deserves credit. Rebadu, Lamode, Waziri have held sway of the EFCC instrument, and they had about 30 high-profile cases involving ex-governors, ministers, and all that. In all, there was only 4 convictions. Magu came between 2015 and 2018, 2018. He had 603 convictions of fraud cases involving, including high-profile Nigerians, and a son, senior advocate of Nigeria, was convicted. And then, in the last 5 months, he was able to convict 116 persons. It's a serious pass mark. And don't forget what led to the creation of the EFCC and the ICPC out of Code of Conduct Bureau. It was the rottenness of the police institution. The Department of Development Research Institute in ABU, I think 2003, carried out a research on the ranking of corrupt institutions in Nigeria. Nigerian police force came first, followed by political class. And there became a need to create an external institution where people that are perceived as competent could be transferred to prosecute corruption cases, because it was sinking the entire system. It was collapsing the nation. And of course, there was an issue of merger when David Mark was Senate President, and a bill came to the House of Assembly for merger. And also wanted them to be independent of the judiciary, of the executive. That bill failed at the House. That proposal failed because they wanted an FCC that should be independent of the ESCO. But at the same time, you needed an ESCO head that will supervise the FCC, which is what the president is doing. Where lies the burden of leadership? Because if the leadership is right, it doesn't matter who is there, you will be right. If you're a corrupt man, you cannot display the tendency, because the man over you will not play your games. And I think
tolerate any
they cannot tolerate it. So they have done credible well, and then police is crying on shortage of manpower, with myriad of cases barraging them and crisis all over. Will you still handle the special problem of the nation for them to carry out? It's not possible. There was a need for that, and I think I applaud that and I welcome it.
All right, we'll take a quick break now. We will return to this quite significant and interesting topic shortly. The program is Nigeria Today, and we are discussing the gains of the President's administration's anti-corruption crusade. We will be back shortly after this break.
Advertise Advertising your goods and services on the right channel gives you an edge over your competitors. NTA News 24 has all the platforms for your target audience. The station is on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46, StarTimes channel 101, and Free TV channel 703. With our digital format and wide range, we can reach your customers in next to no time. We are eager to promote your business, goods, and services. So, partner with us for a very rewarding business experience. For more information, please call Henry on 0803-379-0884 or visit our office at NTA Headquarters, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. NTA News 24. News and more news.
All right, thanks for remaining with us. The program is Nigeria Today, and we are discussing the gains of the present administration's anti-corruption crusade. And our guests are still with us, Sunusi Musa, a legal practitioner, and Mazi Peter Okorafor, a public affairs analyst and a member of the Presidential Campaign Council. Let me come to Sunusi. Let's take this to the ordinary man now. Studies have shown that corruption is not just a matter for government, but it is also pervasive in general society. From your experience, are Nigerians facilitators of corruption, or has there been a significant change in the mindset since this crusade began by the Buhari-led administration?
No, I think of course, there is significant change of mindset of the Nigerian people, because you see, for the first time, we have this. The president has succeeded in restoring the confidence of the populace in the leader, which was not there before. So that has really created a kind of reset of the mind of the people, knowing that it will not be business as usual. I wish what we have, the person we have in the president, is what we have in the 36 states of the federation as our governors, and it's what we have in the 773 local government across the country. I think you would have seen a tremendous progress, more than what we have achieved in what we have today. But generally, like I told you, Nigerians, ordinary man on the street, once he knows that if he engage in corrupt practices, the long arms of the law are going to catch up with him. Certainly he's going to think twice. So I think these are the areas that we need more improvement. Of course, we are making progress, and we are not saying that, I'm not saying EFCC has not made any success. No, but what we are saying, it should not be an elitist issue. If we really want to change the country, the entire police force has to be changed, because it is EFCC can be here in Abuja and some few places, but then the police are the people that are all over the country, in every nook and cranny of the country. So it is them that will be able to check that corruption at that level. So in the next 4 years, I would like to see a situation whereby while we maintain the tempo, we sustain this tempo of the EFCC doing this work, let us come up with a template that will check the corruption in the police force. Because sometimes when they say it's underfunded, like Senator Amelo used to say that he don't agree, because even the little money that is given to them, I don't think it is well spent. We were there when the former Inspector of General Police was crying that his predecessor went on with about 18 cars. He said, why shouldn't you go with 4 cars? For goodness sake, you can imagine the quantum of the money that is being spent in buying cars for just high echelon of the police force. While what we need is for us to check the crime rate in the country. What we need is a police force that will be trained in such a way that it will be able to police the society. What we need, we need a system that will continuous training of the Nigerian police force. But that is not what we have today. We have a situation whereby somebody, if you meet an ordinary policeman today on the street, he will tell you he has spent 20 years in the police force. Nobody has taken him for any cause. How is he going to check the corruption in the society? And people don't understand. Like the president used to say, if we don't kill corruption, it will kill us. All what you are having today, the issue of the insecurity, is a product of corruption. Because certainly it is somebody at the border that looked the other way when the arms were being smuggled into the country. The people that are killing, it is somebody, that policeman, that I mean the DPOs, ordinary policeman, that can take 100,000 from those people and look the other way while they are committing crime. So these are all the things that we have to try and check from all the ramifications, so that the vision of the president of having a better country will be achieved eventually.
Everybody certainly has a role to play in championing this cause. All right, Mazi, how would you say? Would you say you're satisfied with the level of punitive measures against those who engage in corrupt practices? The ordinary Nigerian may get stiff jail sentences, while those in positions of high office oftentimes get a slap on the wrist. How do you see the present administration addressing what's many perceive to be this imbalance?
Well, I must say that corruption fighting is a collective responsibility of the entire Nigerians. And it would be highly injurious to the progress of this nation if we always keep expecting that one man will champion the cause of fighting corruption. It's not possible. Even God that created heaven and earth, in trying to create a perfect state for man, requires even men to be involved in building a perfect state. So the man in the ministry, you are accountable. The man in the police service, you are accountable. The man in the military, you are accountable. You that is doing your business, you are accountable. What is accountability? You can only be accountable to a system you believe in. We must have to believe in this project called Nigeria. If we do not believe in the project called Nigeria, we will not nurse it to growth. It's not an issue of President Buhari. Everybody is looking for one Buhari who sits in the villa to fight corruption. How is it possible?
Yeah.
He only sits there to oversee records presented to him. It is you and I. Buhari will not be there when somebody steals money in NNPC. There may not even be a policeman or EFCC there. It will require people in NNPC to let go. National Assembly have also the oversight function to supervise these arms and make sure there is accountability. I mean, it's our collective responsibility. And I will not pass the buck of the blame on the president for the success or failure. Because in my own view, he's playing his role. Football team is 11 man. You can't play left and play right. You can't play center and play backward. Everybody has his role to play in a football team.
Okay. Sunusi, give us your take on this whistle-blower policy. How successful has it been? Just briefly, please.
No, I think it has succeeded. And but before that, I think it is important that you raise an issue which Mazi maybe didn't address. The issue of saying that the poor men are normally punished when you allow the big men to go away with their... I mean, and that is one area that you must give President Buhari a good commendation. Because this is the time we have two governors that are now in jail. It is unheard of that a Chief Justice of Nigeria can be brought down because of the allegation of corruption. I mean, this is the first time we have seen that type of change where the mighty are being made to pay for their actions or inaction, and it is very important. And that goes to the issue of the whistleblower policy. I think it has assisted. It has assisted in the recovery, which we have seen that now only FCC has recovered in the range of more than 500 billion, millions of dollars, millions of pounds sterling, which it has made it those who are made to hide that money at a pittance now have seen that this is a window for me to make a legitimate 5%, while the back sum of the money of somebody who took away that money that's supposed to be used for provision of healthcare facilities and education, now we can have it back to the system, while I get a good part of it for the enjoyment of my own life.
All right.
So I think we have it is a commendable policy, and I think I want a situation whereby we are going to improve upon that so that we can succeed.
All right. Well, certainly the foundation has been laid by the Buhari administration, and going forward, we certainly hope and are optimistic for even greater successes to be recorded. I'd like to appreciate you both for your contributions on this topic. Sunusi Musa, a legal practitioner, thank you for your comments on Nigeria today.
Thank you very much.
And Mazi Peter Okorafor, a public affairs analyst and a member of the Presidential Campaign Council. Thank you also for your contributions on Nigeria today.
Pleasure is mine.
And that's it on this edition of the program. We must appreciate our viewer also for watching, and remember you can watch this or any other edition on the address on your screen there, www.youtube.com/NTA News 24. My name is Dennis Adignoye. Thank you for watching.